Hey, everybody, it's Danielle Frank, the host of Beauty on Cover podcast, and today is After Hours. So today I have my friend Ashley Flores on. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's actually Ashley Velasquez now since I changed.
Oh, Velasquez. I didn't even realize. And the funny thing is, all right, that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about your wedding and all the great things that happened because you had to plan this like during the pandemic.
hmm Yeah, it was a great experience, but it was hard.
There must have been a lot of challenges. Now, I mean, for any of you, if you have a chance to go on TikTok, now is your TikTok Ashley Flores or Ashley Velasquez?
It's Ash Money. It's a weird
Ash Money.
Ash Money, yeah. And then
Because your videos from your wedding is what inspired me wanting to have you come on here. Because, oh my God, they are gorgeous.
Thank you. I know I can truly say that it was a stressful time, but I mean, when I walked into the venue, it was just like he gasped, I gasped, and I'm like, this is so beautiful. Our vision came to life from the candles to the flowers. Everything was just like magical, and I wish I could relive it. And then literally every single day, I look through my pictures. I'm like,
I don't blame you. I would too. I probably have watched your videos like several times. It was so pretty. So, I mean, in all the things, I mean, from everything from the dress to the venue, which was outside, right? I'm not mistaken on that one.
It was all outside, which was another thing to worry about because the weather, it was by the beach. So it was going to be gloomy or rainy. I was stressed out about that.
Did you have a backup plan?
No.
No, shoot.
My dream has always been to be outside, and it was going to happen, rain or shine.
So here's my question. So you had planned out this wedding. You did this during the pandemic, of course. So that's always kind of like a challenge. You just don't know whether or not you're going to get everything. But do you feel like there was anything out of all that you kind of go, you know what? I probably didn't have to fight so hard for that one.
No, I don't think so. I think
everything was like worth the fight. Like
I do. It was a magical experience, and everything was worth it for me, at least in my opinion.
So what are the things that you wish you did?
I talk about this with all the soon-to-be brides. I just think that you should write everything down beforehand because it is super chaotic the day of. You are literally running around. I don't think I was with my husband that night. Like everybody was just trying to talk to us. So I would say like, make sure you write everything down, talk to your coordinator and tell them like what you really want that day. If not, you're going to be lost running around.
So did you feel like with the coordinator you had like, cause you were saying that you weren't able to see your husband that much that day, even though you got married. I mean, don't you feel like maybe they like, I don't know. I would think that there would be more interaction on their part to make sure that you did have that time.
They were, but it was just in the moment where I'm like talking to my cousins, my uncles, my friends. I'm taking pictures over here with somebody. I'm eating cake. I'm drinking. I'm doing, whatever. And it was just a lot. So you have to.
So with that how many people did you have?
I had 130.
Wow.
Yeah. We wanted 150 initially, but it was just going to be too much. So we narrowed it down to 130.
So when you're planning out this whole thing, like what would you, and I know you were saying that write it all down that you want and everything like that, but how do you budget that out? How do you plan that out? I mean, how long did it take you to plan this?
It took us 2 years, which I think it was enough time for us. Budgeting, just sacrificing, like we would go out a lot, but the pandemic did help us. We were able to save each month. We did it all on our own. So I was super happy about that. Nobody helped us. And yeah, I mean, you just have to sacrifice.
But when it comes to like all the vendors and everything like that, I mean, was it easy to get in touch with them or was there a lot of problems?
So the vendors, some of them, yes, I looked at them all through Instagram recommendations. So I just reached out to them like on DM. I gave them my dates. They were available. The only people that I had trouble with was my hairstylist and my makeup artist. I was so busy with everything else that I totally forgot about myself. Yeah, so I was stressed out with that as well. I think it was a month out and I still didn't have a hairstylist. I didn't have a makeup artist. Finally, they both said yes to me and it was over. I didn't have to deal with anything else.
So, I mean, you were able to get it? So nothing was DIY, right?
Yeah.
Did you DIY anything?
I didn't. I totally forgot about that too. I'm telling you, it's so chaotic that you just forget.
That's crazy. Because I mean, I got to be honest with you. I can't think of a single person I know that's gotten married that didn't have something in there that they were like hot gluing, putting together before a wedding.
Mm-mm. I'm like, did I? No, I didn't.
Because do you know, when I got married, I actually made my invitations.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. No, I made my invitations. It was extensive.
You did that all by yourself?
I had some girlfriends that helped me, but yeah, to come up with the template and come up with the idea, which instead of doing like a return card for, like response card, we actually did a postcard. It was all very Victorian type stuff. So we had a Victorian like postcard in each one, and it was already pre-stamped, and they just had to send it out.
Easy.
Yeah, super easy.
You don't have to
and I did my veil.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would love to see pictures. My veil was.
I have to say they were cute. They were cute. I mean, even for something that was 1995. It was still kind of cute. It would still be relevant today.
Yes.
Not too many things back then were.
I want to see pictures. I have to.
Oh my gosh. So when you are planning out everything, and particularly let's talk about thematics, right? Did you have a theme automatically in your head? Was it something that like you had to do some research on, or you were like, I already knew exactly what I wanted to do?
Yeah, I've been like so stern on, I've always wanted a black and white classic wedding. I wanted it to be outside garden wedding. And that's exactly what I did. I went on Pinterest and I was just like making my own boards and got my creativity through like other people. So my vision really did come to life.
Mine was black and white.
Yes, my bridesmaids' dresses were black. I had like a little bit of black accent incorporated into the florals. So yeah.
How do you figure out the florals with that? Do you keep it to white flowers and then just have accents of black?
Yeah. So it was majority all flowers, well, green and white. And then we had like I forgot the name of the black flowers, but
black flowers. Mm-hmm. That's weird.
No, it was so, I know, I was like, black flowers, it's kind of weird, but no, it looked beautiful. She just did an amazing job.
It sounds morbid. But no, I understand what you're saying. Like it the way it can all come together.
Yeah, I was a bit too black in my bouquet too, but I'm like, maybe not. I'll just do that in the centerpieces.
I think it'll be pretty. I bet it was really pretty. It was really pretty. But beyond that, I mean, so the florist was taking care of the flowers. Did they also take care of any like additional dressing that's on the table?
Yeah.
Well,
I wanted a bunch of candles, and she put candles in the sweetheart table. I had literally candles all the way from the bottom to the top, just flowing everywhere. And then I had candles on each table, on the bridal table. So literally when you walked in, it was just sparkled with candles everywhere.
And when the other picture that I saw, and it went by so fast in the video. So I didn't get to see everything in detail, though I tried to pause it, but you know how it is? Like, you're like, damn, I missed it. You had a neon light there, which I know is really on trend right now.
Yeah.
Did it have your last name or?
It had our last name. That was the one thing that I was looking for. And I got my neon sign in Australia. So I was going to break on the way here. I think I got it almost a year before. So I had like secured in a little area and I'm like, nobody better break it. So I had it for a full year. And the day of, I'm like, please turn on, please don't let it break. And it just like pulled everything together.
Were you in Australia, or was it that you got it shipped from Australia?
I got it shipped from Australia.
Why Australia?
I don't know. This is the only place that I found the neon sign that I really liked. And they said that they can ship to the US. So I just did it.
How long did it take?
I think 3 weeks.
Well, that's not too bad.
Not bad, yeah. And then if it were to break or anything, they can refund me or they can send me a new one. So I wasn't really worried about it.
Except for if you didn't have it. But then again, you did it so far in advance, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, and that's actually the one thing that people have reached out to me about, like, what size did I get? What font did I get? What color was it? So it was a big hit and it really brought my pictures together. So
They really did.
yeah. So I'm going to have that neon sign when we buy our first house in our living room or like in our office. So I just love that piece.
I feel like that's like, I know it's a trending thing and it's like kind of like, I know that there's different trends that happen in weddings over the decades in which like, oh yeah, I remember when everybody was doing that. But in that in particular, I feel like that's something you can kind of hang on to for a really long time.
Even when it stops working, I'm still going to use it. Like that's just, I don't know. I'll just hang it up there somewhere. Keep it in my garage.
I wonder if that's something you can get fixed.
I don't know, but I'm going to try if it does stop working.
So were you able to still book a honeymoon afterwards or was it something you put off?
Yes. So we went to Maldives and we stayed there for a week. We had a little bungalow on the beach on top of the water and it was magical.
Which must have been perfect considering, you know, a lot of people weren't traveling for so long and then to be able to like go through everything and then get away. So here's my big question, because I do hear over and over and over again, and I know it happened with myself as well. You spend all this time planning for that one big day, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like now you're like, now what?
I was literally talking about that with my family. I'm like, I was looking forward to the wedding. I was, in shape. I was working out. My priorities were straight. Now I'm just like, I can eat whatever. Whatever. I don't have to save money anymore. I mean, our next goal is to buy our house. So we're budgeting for that. But I mean, it's going to take a while. So now
not with this market right now.
I know. So right now we're just like, let's just enjoy life. Like we're a married couple. This is our first year and let's go have fun. We don't have kids yet. So
do you think you're going to go on adventures, maybe travel a bit?
Well, we try to travel every year. So I'm hoping we're going to book a trip in like June or July. I want to go to like Africa or something or Greece. I don't know. I just want to be out.
So aside from the planning and trying to figure out time to like breathe through all of it, is there anything that through this entire experience of planning out your wedding that you sit there and think, I totally wish, or not even totally wish, something that you would give advice to people to really do? Otherwise, you're going to be like crazy.
I mean, I was getting a lot of back and forth with mixed opinions about having a wedding, throwing a wedding. And a lot of people were telling me like, you shouldn't spend so much money on an event, especially with family members that you never talk to. And I think everybody's different. I don't think you should listen to anybody but yourself. I really loved and enjoyed my wedding. And I would definitely, if I can go back, I would. So if you want to have a wedding, have a wedding. If you want to spend that money, spend that money. Who cares?
Did you decide to have kids at your wedding?
No, that's another tip that I have. I am so happy that I did not have kids. I actually got into a few arguments with my family members about it, but I'm like, no kids at my weddings. I've been to weddings where kids have cried during the ceremony and I'm like, I can't have that happen. Or kids running around during the first dance. Like, no.
Now, true story. Now, my eldest niece is now 30 and her sister is probably around 28 now. So they were my flower girls. And I was like, yeah, have kids come at the wait. What the hell? This is what happens when we talk at the end of the day. Or maybe it's a commentary on my former marriage. But at the reception, like, so my nieces, I was like so chill, like I was so chill about everything. And like, when it came to their dresses, I was like, let them wear Disney princess outfits. I don't care. Whatever's going to make them happy. They were little kids, So it turns out that my younger niece completely freaked out. Like, no, she wasn't going to go down. So my brother had to pick her up and walk her down. But the funniest thing is that I asked our photographer to take a lot of candid pictures. I wanted to have almost like an editorial thing. Apparently, I did not research this guy very well because he was not about the editorial. Like anything that he tried to do editorial was horrible, right? But you see, for me, I like the sloppiness. I like the, silliness, that people are getting into.
Those are the best.
Right. So my nieces at the cocktail hour, they got into a bowl of strawberries.
Oh my God. They got it all over.
So they had red just dripping down from their face all over their dresses. And they looked absolutely adorable. And I went to the photographer. I'm like, you got to get a picture of this. And he refused.
What?
He refused. And then after that, he wouldn't have them in any of the pictures. I was furious.
Probably like
to this day, I don't have a picture of it.
Oh my God. Nobody else took pictures?
Well, I mean, we have some pictures from family, because back then it wasn't even like phones, it was like regular cameras. Yeah. We have a couple I don't know if I have a picture of them covered in the strawberries though, but they were so cute.
I actually, speaking of the disposable cameras, I wanted to have a bunch laid out so we can have, different weird pictures, but that's another thing that I forgot. So definitely write everything down. Make sure.
Yeah, but where would you send that?
Well, I wanted to have a table with a note that said every family member can take one at the end of the event. Make sure you put it back, and then I'll send copies to everybody. But I was just so busy.
So it'd be like a digital camera.
Just to have like memories from my family, like personally, see what they capture that day. But I'm so sad I didn't do that. I wish I would have just wrote it down and then checked it off my list, but I was just so busy. So it's definitely key to have like an agenda or something, or like a notebook, write everything down.
I mean, was there any other like idea that you saw in like all your planning? Because, you see a lot of stuff and then you're like, all right, I got to choose which ones I really, really want. And though they're really appealing, it really doesn't go with my thematics. So was there anything that you saw that you're like, ooh, it would have been fun, but it wasn't right for me?
I don't think so. I'm telling you, everything that we had was everything that we both wanted, and it just like came to life for us.
See, if I could do it again, but I have to say, like, I don't even think this was something that was available back then. I love the idea of a photo booth.
I had a big photo booth. I had a Volkswagen. I mean, I think when we were in high school, when we got together, we always said that if we were to get married, we're going to buy our Volkswagen together, and we're going to go to the beach and have our kids in there, puppy love. And for our wedding, we decided we were going to have a Volkswagen photo booth. So it was super cute. It was white. He decorated with florals all over. We were able to go in and take photos. And that was, I guess, like the most, other than the sign, that'd be my second like favorite.
It's really funny because, I mean, you weren't able to make it, but we had an event with work, and they had one of those. They had a Volkswagen photo booth in there. Mm-hmm. And can I tell you, like, stupid story? So don't laugh.
Why are you laughing?
So I was so excited about taking a picture in here because, like, one of my family stories was that when my parents had one of those, like the Volkswagen vans. Mm-hmm. And, we traveled all over the place in it. And when I was 2 years old, so I had 5 siblings that were older than me, we're getting into the Volkswagen, and my mom usually, because back then they didn't have car seats and stuff. So she always kept the youngest one like up front or whatever. I don't know. So she wanted, my brother's like, oh no, please let her keep it back here with me, blah, blah, blah. Now, mind you, I have no memory of this, but apparently the Volkswagen, like minivans or whatever vans that they had back then, there was a defect to the van where the sliding door did not lock in and it would randomly open.
No.
And it opened and I fell out and bounced down the road.
Oh my gosh. And
yeah.
Dangerous.
Well, it's funny because it's kind of like this funny, like I say, it's a funny story in my family because it was apparently traumatic. And my mother might still cry when she tells that story. And I'm just like, really, Mom?
You're fine.
But I mean, I always think it's kind of funny because apparently I was wrapped up in a blanket, and my mom stops the car and is running down the street going, don't run over my baby. So yeah, dramatic, very dramatic.
So true. Well, do you want a Volkswagen now, or are you like completely scared of them?
I always wanted a Volkswagen.
So cute. They're like the
They're
best.
so
And you
cute.
live in Florida, so I mean, what better place to have a Volkswagen?
I know. Well, I always wanted a Volkswagen Bug, but you see, they came out with the new ones and they're really cute, but they're not like the old ones, like
Yeah,
the
the ones,
OG.
the vintage. Yeah.
Yeah. But the problem is the old ones are a stick.
I don't know how to drive stick, but I'll learn. My husband.
All right. Well, my ex-husband tried to teach me and it was not a good thing.
I tried once and it was not happening, but I mean, I need to do it again.
But I mean, there are people that say, "Oh, I could teach you," and I'm like, I don't know. You don't know my coordination.
I know, right? No, but I really want one. That's my goal. Once I have my house, I want my Volkswagen. I want a blue Volkswagen. I want to drive to the beach with it.
I love it.
Getting into the photo booth business. Like,
I know. But it was so exciting to me because I've never actually been inside a Volkswagen van. Like, I mean, I have, but I mean, I don't recall it. So I was like all excited. I was like, yay. It's cool. Not the same when it's a photo booth though.
Yeah. No, but it was like the perfect touch. There was this big white vintage Volkswagen and everyone loved it. I mean, everyone loves taking pictures.
I wonder if that's like a very common thing in different states. I mean, because knowing that, obviously your event was an entirely different place than where I was. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, wow, I can't believe it was the exact same man.
I know. No, I really do think that the neon signs and the Volkswagen or just like any photo booth it's a hit this year within like the last 5 years.
Well, I think Volkswagens don't go out of style ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really love that. So like my favorite things that I saw on your videos was, well, now that I know about the photo booths, I'm like, ooh, I love the neon sign. I love the dance floor. It was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, was that part of the venue or did you have that special ordered?
The venue was so green, so perfect that I didn't really need to do much besides the florals. And even if I didn't have the florals, the venue would have still looked.
But there were twinkle lights too. I mean, was that them?
That was them too.
Oh my God.
I had to pay extra for it, but that was part of the venue. Yeah.
Well, worth it.
Have lights.
Because I mean, is there anything more magical than twinkle lights at a wedding?
No, I'm telling you, the candles, the lights. Oh, it was just so beautiful. Everything just popped out. I'm telling you, I walked in and I was not expecting anything like that. I just gasped and I'm like, this is my wedding. I'm so happy. The dress was so worth it.
That's what I want to ask you about. That dress. Oh my God. Now, where did you wind up getting that?
So I have a funny story. My grandma and my uncles, they have their own like tuxedo bridal business. So
no way.
Yeah, so the guys got hooked up on the tuxedos. I think they paid like $30. And then
nice.
I got my dress on wholesale. And yeah, it was super quick and easy. I went to one spot, tried on the dresses and picked out my dress and I got it within like a month, I think.
So
my grandma.
Were you looking for something in particular? Like, was there a particular style or were you just like, I don't even know what I want. I'm just going to.
I wanted a tight lace type of dress, mermaid, and that completely changed. The lace did not look good on me. And it is true. I've heard from other brides that once you go in, your look completely changes. Like the dress that you wanted is the dress that probably looks the ugliest. Not the ugliest, but it's not what you were expecting. So yeah, I ended up getting a whole different dress.
That's interesting because I do think that's like a valid thing. And every time I see one of those shows where they're like trying on the dresses and they like the bride has something in their head like, oh, this is the kind of dress I have. And they're trying one after the other, and they're just not happy. And then they're like, I want you to try this. I don't like that. I want you to try it. I don't like it. And then they try it on. They're like, oh my God.
Yeah, that was me. I'm like, I don't really want to try this dress on. Once I tried it on, it fit my body like a glove. And I love my dress. It was like in between a party dress and a fancy type of dress.
Now, I know you were working out like a demon.
It was.
You have to take it in a lot because you were.
No, if I'm telling you, if it's so perfect, I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop. Like what I'm doing, I don't need to work out anymore. I don't need
to work out anymore. Garrett must be like twisting right now.
No, Garrett was like, you need to continue. Your wedding's in a couple of weeks. He's like, let's go hard. And I'm like, Garrett, I can't. Like my dress fits perfect. I want to go eat a cake right now.
I'm going to go have a burrito.
Whatever I want right now.
Oh
But yeah, I
my
was
gosh.
working out so hard. I'm telling you, it was just something that I was looking forward to. And I'm like, I really, really want to look good for my wedding. This is the day that I've been waiting for since I was a little girl. So
Were you focused more on like weight training?
Yeah.
Mm.
I was hitting those heavy weights thanks to Garrett.
It makes all the curves fit right?
Yes.
Definitely.
I put on the dress and I'm like, this is my dress. It's perfect.
That's amazing.
It was elegant. It was sexy. My whole back was showing, which was what I initially wanted. And I'm like, yeah, this is my dress.
Oh my God, I would be terrified of that. Even if I was young and tiny, I would be terrified of like, because
no, the back, I've always wanted a V cut for a dress. And that's what I got.
Okay, so I forgive me if this is a personal question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I don't care. So what do you do when it's like that deep of a V back? What do you do about the undergarments? I mean, is it built in?
Yeah, bra was built in, and then just wear comfortable bottoms.
Yeah, I can't even fathom that. But then again, I am like, I've got big boobs, girl. I can't.
I know, same, but the bra built inside was like perfection.
And it still works for you.
Mm-hmm.
See, yeah. I would be afraid.
I know. I was thinking about that too, but I was so busy that day. I didn't take anything with me. I just had the inserts inside and that's it.
See, that's really cool because like I said, I feel like unless you were really not endowed, it would be fine, and it's not a big deal, especially in an event like that. You don't want anything getting weird. But because back in our day, they would just say, get duct tape.
Yeah, I was thinking about duct tape actually, because that's the only thing that works for me. All those other tapes do not work, but I forgot the duct tape.
Yeah, I know. I keep on seeing all those things. I see them on TikTok. But I mean, you see them all over the place where they have these taped up things that I'm going, no, that can't work.
For girls that have a heavier set, it does not work. It didn't work for me. So duct tape is what I normally use when I'm wearing any type of, shirts like that. And it hurts to take it off, but
it does.
I prefer that over the other tapes.
And one last question, because I will say this is the one thing I usually tell brides anytime, like I hear about someone that in my life that's getting married. What did you do about the shoes?
Oh my God, I forgot about the shoes too. The week of the wedding, I went to the mall. I went to like 3 different malls and I couldn't find any shoes. I wanted white ones. And for some reason, whites were either sold out, not in my size, or I just couldn't find the right heels. And my husband is 6'2", I'm 5'2". So I needed high heels and I could not find them.
See, my ex-husband was about an inch shorter than I was. And again, the photographer, every single picture he took with the two of us together, he would make me bend my knees.
That is so weird.
Wasn't a nice man. Wasn't a nice man. But what I was going to say is, I didn't have to wear heels, which was really good. And my sister, who did wear heels at her wedding, like the year prior, she was in so much pain during her honeymoon.
Yeah.
She was miserable.
Yeah. I took off my shoes and I think an hour in and I'm like, I can't.
I wore isotoner slippers that were satin and we put some stuff on it to make it fancy.
That's cute. I mean, I'm sure your feet were blister free because I had a huge blister and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I took off my shoes or my heels.
Yeah, no, I know. Feet are like a thing with me. Like I have to be comfortable in that. Like you will almost never catch me in heels.
Yeah, no, it's another tip. Be comfortable. If you don't want, I think I know like 3 different brides that didn't wear heels that day.
Well, I think if you can get away with it, I can understand like you're petite and your husband is really tall, and I can understand where you might want to have something at least for the pictures and stuff.
Yeah. So when I took off my heels, it was time for our first dance. I couldn't find my heels anywhere. So I ran like all over. I still couldn't find them. They're like, you need to hurry up. Like we're on a schedule. So we were just, our height differences. I'm like,
dramatic.
So dramatic. I was literally holding him and I'm like, it was so short. But
oh my gosh, that's so
it was just funny because I'm like, and then they were lost the whole night. Couldn't find them.
That's so funny. Any bad shenanigans at your wedding?
Mm. So my husband was in charge of one thing in the beginning of the wedding. He was supposed to go print out the table numbers. He ended up forgetting the table numbers. And I'm like, the one thing that you were in charge of, you forgot. And I'm like a perfectionist. I want the pictures to look perfect. So my coordinator had yellow Post-its, and she was gonna put those in the middle of the centerpieces. And I'm like, it's yellow. I don't want it to look off. So she was incredible. She went to the store and she bought white ones and she placed them in the middle. But I'm like, the one job that you had, yeah, they were like Post-its. I think they were Post-its. And she just like stuck in.
Cute.
You couldn't even tell. But the one thing that he was in charge of, he ended up forgetting. And I'm like, this is why I coordinated everything.
See, there's that DIY thing that we were talking about. And there you go.
Yeah, I guess.
Right out the window.
Yes. And then, the big thing, my cake fell. My cake vendor.
No.
Yes, it was so sad. I wanted to cry, but I'm like, there's bigger things to worry about. So I was taking my first look photos, and she texted me a photo, and my cake just completely fell in the back of her trunk. And my husband was really, really upset because she ended up texting me versus texting the coordinator. And it just like kind of ruined the moment. But they ended up baking a new cake, and they brought it, I think, like around 9:00. It was a little late, but they still brought it.
Wow, the fact that they were able to pull it together, though, that's pretty
incredible. I know accidents happen, so I wasn't, like extremely mad or anything, but I was just like, I'm taking my first look photos right now, and I get this news. But the cake was beautiful. They did an amazing job.
There's an old expression that says you got to expect at least one thing to go wrong at every wedding. And that once that thing happens, you can just like be like, oh, okay, good. The one thing happened.
Yeah. No, when my cake fell, I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, go get cakes or something. But yeah, they came through.
The people that were supposed to do the music at our wedding, their car broke down on the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they didn't make it.
No.
Yeah, I didn't find it. I will give them credit. The place that I had it, they kind of kept it from us, and they actually called someone that was like a house DJ.
They made up for
which was nice. And the guy was literally on the way to the beach, and he like ran home, got changed, got everything.
Oh my God, that's great.
And they were super sweet because they extended our cocktail hour. And I didn't know why. I was like, whatever,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, I have heard of that. And thankfully it wasn't anything else. It was, I guess, minimal, but
it could have been huge, because can you imagine not having any music? Like, what do you do?
I know. No, that is, the music either breaks or makes your wedding or any party.
So I gotta say, my sister, okay, so like my family is a little strange, but my older sister, she and her husband were really into Civil War reenactments. So they did a Civil War reenactment wedding.
Okay.
So there was not really music per se. I think at one point they kept everything time period. So when she walked down the aisle, there was no music. And so, typical of my family, we just start going, da da da. We're like idiots.
I would have done the same thing.
It was fun. It was actually a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
I mean, when it's your own wedding, do whatever you want to do. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I mean, you're paying for it. You're the one that's going to enjoy it. So
I actually like it when people do things that are a little bit unconventional too.
Yeah, not traditional. It's different. Yeah, I totally agree.
Well, I appreciate you coming on and telling us all about your wedding adventures. Yes. Because Lord knows, I know that's an adventure that takes a lot of work.
It does, but at the end of the day, it's, in my opinion, it was worth it, and I'm so happy with everything, and I love my vendors and love my venue, and yeah, I would literally talk to anybody about their wedding. If you want any advice, if you want any tips, like, feel free to message me, whatever. Like, I will help you out as much as I can.
Thanks for coming on, Ashley. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.